Check one, check two. Good evening, world. Scott Free here. And you are tuned into another edition of The Prophecy. Each and every Sunday right here on CIUT 89.5 FM, the new sound of your city, broadcasting live from the Hart House right here in the University of Toronto. Special broadcast this week. I'm not gonna lie, pretty psyched. We got Legion in the building. Gonna be dropping a mega mini mix right here before he jets off to Toda for church. Gonna give you the info on that in a minute. And into the second hour, we have a studio guest mix from Schematic. Like I said, maybe last month I told you I was gonna come for Dan, get a mix from him, and here we are. So strap in. This one's gonna be a fun one. Sounds of Decision, RMS, and Shots in the background represent Inner City Dance right here from Toronto. At ScottFree_SIM on Twitter, Scott Free on Facebook. Get your shouts in now. Keep it locked. CIUT 89.5 FM. Let's do it.
We don't follow the flow. We created it. 89.5 FM. Real Radio.
Check.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear. Didn't even have to ask for it. Amazing. What's going on, Legion?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Welcome to Toronto.
Oh, I'm pleased to be here.
First time?
Yes, it is. Yeah, definitely my first time, and I've enjoyed the festive opportunities that this new it launched and all that stuff.
Yeah. To legally walk around with alcohol, right?
I didn't even know that. I missed out on that part.
Well, it's not legal. But let's just put it out there. So thanks, man. Glad you could make it tonight. We're really excited to have you do a little mini mix here before you head off to Toda. So kind of give them a rundown. Give the world a 30-second snapshot of who you are and what you do.
Well, basically, always loved jungle and drum and bass music for a long time. It's been a really interesting time right now in America, and we're kind of trying to change the facade of drum and bass and kind of give it something more like deep house or like techno, something for the younger crowd to launch onto. And I think some of our new releases we'll be playing tonight kind of exemplify that, kind of more minimal, stripped back approach, but still with like the pop kind of vocal or something like that, but the underground kind of music. And that's kind of where we're at right now, just trying to do something in America, because maybe in Canada drum and bass has always been a facet, but in America we're really just trying to push it and make it something palatable. So
nice.
Hopefully in my music tonight you'll see what I'm talking about. So
awesome, man. So just kind of drop some knowledge about some of the new releases. Something on Program, which is a sister label of Ram, and I believe something new on Players, if you just want to drop some info on that.
Yeah, well, we did an EP with Logum and NC17, who's a Toronto resident, actually.
Shouts to Peter.
Yeah, Peter. He's been a longtime friend, and we were all hooked up with DJ Hype and Players, so we did a 5-track on Players, and then shortly after we had a remix of Grum, which is really big for us. It's Grum's like a big disco house, like progressive name, and that really took off. And then after that, just most recently we've done Holding On and Afterthoughts, which is Program, Ram's sister label, and that one's out right now, and we'll be starting out with Afterthoughts, so check that one out.
All right, amazing. All right, so how can folks get a hold of you, find you on social media if they're not? I believe it's at Logan DMB. Sorry, Legion DMB.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just Legion DMB. If you search that anywhere, SoundCloud, Twitter, Facebook, that's what's going to come up.
All right, great. So I'm just going to drop some info about tonight. So you're touching down at Toda, which is 592 Queen Street West, corner of Queen and Bathurst. You'll be playing alongside DJ Prof from Calgary and K-Star. Guys, make sure you head on down. As always, Toda is bumping on Sundays. It's the new weekly institution. Go on and get baptized. Once again, Legion, man, thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to shout out Ram Records right now for all the opportunities they've given me. And also, it's my girlfriend's birthday, so give Kylie a shout. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Kylie! All right, dude, come back on the other side.
Thanks.
We don't follow the flow. We created it. 89.5 FM, Real Radio.
emotion. Break out of the fight. Let's move forward. Never look back. Straight into the future. Keep running down the track. Stay all night. Feel our emotion. Break out of the fight. Let's move forward. Never look back. Straight into the future. Keep running down the track.
Break down your occupation and your education. I heard what you said about it being complicated. It ain't simple either way. Yes, a dream won't make it bad. Somebody out there counting on you to break through somehow. Somebody out there counting on you to break through somehow. And you don't even know it. Where are you going? Or haven't you known it? You're hopelessly coping. So why play it safe? What you mean just in case? Well, of course you might care. That's the take. Can't run from the dark. Either way you go back down. I just want to have 100%. Tell yourself it ain't worth the trouble. Somebody out here counting on you to break through somehow. And you don't even know it. Where are you going?
You don't follow the flow. We created it. 89.5 FM, Real Radio.
You're hopelessly coping. And you don't even know it. Where are you going? Or haven't you known it? You're hopelessly coping. Settle, settle, settle. Settle, running, running. Settle, settle, settle. Settle, running, running. Settle, settle, settle. Settle, running, running. Settle, settle. And you don't even know it. Where are you going? Or haven't you noticed? You're hopelessly caught.
I remember living in the old song. Couple of bulls and it could take us back. New school player with a old song. But we ain't waiting on the game to pass back. Real is just expected. My people way cooler, our circle has been perfected. Don't worry, baby, I'ma take it slow. Cause when it's on love, there ain't no faking, man.
Yeah, once again, Legion in the mix right now, representing Ram Records. They're going to be touching down at Toda tonight, 592 Queen Street West at Bathurst. Make sure you check them out. Keep it locked at Legion DMB for social media. Let's do it.
Salute from the brow, shit that's real down to the Adidas. Bourbon in the glass, the hands in the air, Mardi Gras. Cold snapping that beat, waking you lullabies. If you ain't need the cuss of the sleep, peep how the hunger rise. North to the south, movement obviously major. Hood to the birds, words to the street, she misbehavior. Different creators equate the distance difference to greater. We do it because we love it, while others fuss with it later. Demonstrate, keep it mommy, I'm Liam Neeson. Before we get in the who's taking the pretty face in the morning. Still I ride with the homies, coolly as ever set up. Even if my soul get up, the music is never lonely. I'm off course, on call, always lead to the team till we rich and pour it out, just needs a refill. Paint the evolution of self upon the easel. If you don't care about the people, don't worry, we will. I remember living in the old song. Couple of pulls and it could take us back. New school player with a old song. ain't waiting on the game to pay us back. Real estate suspected. People who ain't cool and sickle is be perfected. Don't worry, baby, I'ma take it slow. Cause when it's on love, there ain't a faking, man.
We don't follow the flow, we created it. 89.5 FM, Real Radio.
Once again, just checking in. You are tuned into the sounds of Legion, representing Ram Records, at Legion DMB on Twitter and Facebook. Hopping back in the mix.
Don't let Billy, you time tripping again? I can always tell, you know, when you've been time tripping. Time tripping. Time tripping. I can always tell, you know. Billy, you time tripping again? I can always tell, you know. You've been time tripping, time tripping, time tripping. Billy, Billy.
The answer you gave left me out in the dark. Some people enter your life as a blessing, or some leave a lesson I lost, but I hold that something in my arms. I can hold in my arms. If I can't understand your silence, how will I understand your words? I just need a bit
Billy?
of guidance.
You time tripping again?
Send me into your world.
I can always tell, you know, when you've been time tripping. Time tripping. Time tripping.
Yeah, so this one happens to be the last one for Legion. This is Holding On, the new single out now on Program featuring Micah Freeman. So make sure you go cop this ASAP because it is a killer. Once again, I want to say thank you to Legion for coming through. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure you head on down to church. 592 Queen Street West at Bathurst. $10 to check out Legion alongside DJ Prof from Calgary and K-Star. So head on down, Legion, Ram Records. Here we go. Thank you once again, at Legion DMB. Add and follow and get to know. Easy.
You just keep holding on.
Prophecy. We create the content.
Yeah, once again, want to send a big shout out to Legion for touching down tonight. Making big moves right now, signed to the biggest label in the whole genre, Ram Records. New single out now on the sister label Program. That is the last track, once again, Holding On. And the other tune on that is Afterthought. At Legion DNB for Twitter and Facebook. Make sure you start following on both. And if that first mix was not enough, make sure you head on down to church, 592 Queen Street West, and check them out one more time. Alongside DJ Prof and K-Star. $10 all night. But now we're into the special guest mix from Schematic, one of Toronto's very own.
Another time is what you said to me. And I'll be okay. I'll be fine. Cause with you is where I'm meant to be. With you is where I'm meant to be. Missing you. Yeah, missing you.
So if you're not already following Dan at Schematic DNB for Twitter.
And I can't go back in time now.
And Schematic DNB for Facebook. The second song I played tonight while Legion and I were chatting was the Schematic remix of Decision and Shots Special Days, which is available now on Inner City Dance. It is Inner City Dance release number 21. So make sure you cop that. If you guys listen to me at all while I'm hosting this show, I am always running Schematic all the time. Dan is on an absolute tear the last 12 to 18 months, and it is in no way stopping. So enjoy this mix. I'm going to stop talking. Before I do that, I want to send shout outs to everyone tuned in. But of course, first shout out to the whole Electric Symphony crew in the building tonight. Big shouts to Andy. Much respect, guys. Sorry I couldn't make it on Friday, but the lineup, man, I really appreciate you guys bringing Scientific and Legion in, man. That was a great look. All the best. Can't wait for the next one. And of course, Mr. Brown, DJ Prime, my cohorts on this show for the radio. And then Aaron, Fuzzy, tuned in. Dude, making people cry on the internet with your wonderful little video. Oh, it was so sweet. Anastasia's tuned in. Melody's tuned in. Royals tuned in. Miss Sarah Alexis tuned in. Tiffy B, Corey Slater, Mary Tess, Tina, the lovely Christine, Tony Moosekiller, Russell Coe, and David Arpad. Thanks for giving your shouts out earlier, gang. Glad y'all are tuning in and enjoying it. Score update, just tell me that the Raptors kicking some booty out in Van City. Michael Justin Mandel tuned in. So once again, at Schematic DNB, both Facebook and Twitter for Dan. And you got 55 more minutes in the mix from Dan. I'm going to stop talking. Thanks for tuning in, guys. At ScottFree_SIM on Twitter, Scott Free on Facebook.
follow the flow. We created it. 89.5 FM, Real Radio.
Shouts to Marcus tuned in on the ride home. Shouts to Sam Rose. Once again, you are into the guest mix of Schematic. Represent Schematic Sound, CCD&B, Inner City Dance, Blue Sapphire. At Schematic DMB on social media if you want to follow. Dan gets the seal of approval from yours truly. Big fan.
It's just in my way.
Keep it locked. 89.5. Keep it locked. 89.5. Keep it locked. 89.5.
Yeah, once again, as stated before, this is the guest mix from Schematic. I am your host this week, Scott Free. Give me a signal, let me know you're tuned in at ScottFree_SIM on Twitter, Scott Free on Facebook. you're enjoying the mix. Pretty special broadcast this week. 2 guest mix, 1 live in the studio from Legion D&B, and this one a guest mix from Schematic. Hopefully we'll get Dan actually in the studio soon. Send him your get well wishes. He is ill at will, as the kids would say. "25 minutes left in this week's broadcast. Give me a holla. Let me know you tuned in.
Prophecy, 15,000 watts of power.
Stop
embrace. The higher you climb, the harder you fall. It's a chance you take, a leap of faith. Tell yourself there's strength in your bones. Tell yourself you're not letting go. This nightmare won't kill your dream. Believe you've come along.
Last 5 minutes, gang. Once again, hope you've enjoyed this week's special broadcast. 2 guest mix, Legion from Atlanta and Schematic here locally. If you're not already following me on social media, at ScottFree_SIM on Twitter, Scott Free on Facebook. Not certain exactly who will be in next week, but you'll be tuned in all the same, as you guys are so loyal and we love you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it. If you're heading down to Tota, please be safe and party somewhat responsibly. All right, that's it for me. Take it easy. Schematic mix still rolling out. Chat soon. Peace.